So welcome to our business analytics office hours today. My name is Molly and I'll be your student advisor throughout the course. I'll touch a little bit more on what my specific role is in a couple of slides, but for now it's just my job to orient you and get everyone ready for the material and all the course different structures. So we'll go ahead and just jump in. So I'm going to be sharing my screen and perfect, let's get started. So like I said, welcome to our business analytics orientation. Our orientation overview today. First, we're going to start out with course support. So who can you lean on throughout the course when times get tough? Next, we're going to move into course structure. So what are the different components of the course and why is it important to know that? Next, we're going to move into tips to succeed in the course. So these are tips from alumni, mentors, students who are currently in the course on just what are the ways that differentiate students who are extremely successful in the course to those who might struggle. Last, we're going to move into like the next steps. So what's coming after this? And finally, at the end, we're going to have some time for some question and answers. So feel free to flag anything, jot it down on a paper or jot it down in the chat box to your right, and I'll answer any questions that you might have as we go forward. Great, so let's start off with course support. So first, who can you lean on in the course? Definitely me. I'll be your student advisor throughout the course, so you can ping me for all things like Springboard or course specific. So I can chat about progress, accountability, time management. You can utilize me for weekly call check-ins. So in the past, I've had weekly calls with students who just really want someone to be accountable to, or want to say, hey, Molly, I have a specific goal of this course. I really want to complete it within the 12 weeks. I really want to complete all 5 case studies. How can you help me do that? So I can help with study tips, help you prioritize the course, and give you any type of like course specific help that you need. Also, if you ever need a break or something comes up, feel free to email me as well. And all of that you can email me at molly@springboard.com. However, Leo and I also are not business analysts, so we might not be the best people to flag if you have course content specific questions, but Leo and I are both here for the support and more of the Springboard side of things. Leo, again, is more logistical and billing questions, so regarding payments or, again, kind of like freezing the course, you would go to Leo, and then myself, prioritization and just like accountability and that sort of thing. So both more of a support role within the course. Great. Going forward, you also have Justin Fong, who is your community manager. Justin lives in your community, which is hosted in your online profile, on your student profile. You can go ahead and access it there. He responds to almost all questions within 24 hours. He is a business analyst, and so he is able to help you with those content-specific questions. Any specific case study questions you might have, feel free to relay that to Justin, and he'll get back to you really, really soon. Along with that, he's really great with sharing resources. If you ever join us for our office hours, which I'll talk about too in a second, he does a great job of sharing, Excel shortcuts, anything that you might need to help you in the course. He's there for that. So make sure you utilize Justin as much as you can as well, because he's there just to make sure you never feel alone. In between, your student advisor and your mentor, Justin's kind of the in-between to help you with all of your other questions going forward. Like I mentioned, you will have your mentor. We don't have your mentor's name there just yet because you'll find out who your mentor is on Friday, November 30th, so this Friday. They are also business analysts. They are all industry experts. They have very different backgrounds though, so each mentor is going to be a little different. When we pair you with your mentor on Friday, we do our best to make sure that either, your time zones are similar. You have a similar background. Maybe you guys went to college in the same place. Maybe you have similar interests. We do try and find that connection and that similarity so that each of you have a different mentor and each of you have a different connection with your mentor. Alongside being industry experts, they're also extremely passionate about mentoring. Many of them really enjoy that process of giving their knowledge to the next generation of business analysts and really providing that education for them. And they are best utilized in their weekly 45-minute calls. So each week, at the same time each week, you will have a call with this mentor. This can start once the course starts, so after December 3rd. It depends on when your availability is, but your mentor will be there to help you with any questions that you might have throughout the course. Also, they are the ones who grade and finalize your course certification. So these calls are meant to act in accordance with the content. So as you're progressing through the case studies, you're able to address those concerns or comments or questions that you might have immediately with your mentor each week. And then at the end, when you're ready to submit all of your work, your mentors will also be the ones who are giving that final grade to it. Great, so overview, kind of the content versus support staff, but all of us are here just to support you throughout your educational journey with us. And yeah, just someone you can lean on throughout the course at all different stages. Cool, going forward, now we're gonna talk a little bit about our business analytics course structure. So first, we're going to discuss the case study-based curriculum. So all of these are, work with real data. They're less curated and more proprietary cases. It's a really iterative process. So the different case studies that we have are going to be forecasting, root cause analysis, customer segmentation, funnel analysis, and customer lifetime value. Along with that, we also have an Excel forecasting and predicting optional week at the very beginning. They are really important because you have to complete at least 3 out of the 5 case studies to kind of receive that final certification. Alongside that, you will also have your 45-minute one-on-one mentor call. So like I said, it does act in accordance with the curriculum. Your mentors are really excited to meet you and to get to help you throughout your course, but a really important component of our course structure is the mentor calls. So anytime you might have a question with anything, Excel, Tableau, SQL, this is where you can ask those really content-specific questions in those 45-minute mentor calls. Going up and to the right, alongside those 2 different pillars of our course structure, we also have our online community. This is something that I like to really highlight, as I think it's a really important component of our course and of Springboard in general. It's a place where, like I said, past alumni live. We have some of our mentors are on it. Students who are in the course but in different cohorts are all living in this online community. So we really ask that you kind of be vulnerable and put yourself out there in the community, because I think that's the best type of education you can have, is when you lean on your peers or leaning on others for support as well. A lot of the times we're all going through the same thing. And so it's great to ask a question if you have it, because odds are 5 to 10 other people having the exact same question. So alongside your mentor calls in the curriculum, you can also utilize the community to provide resources, ask questions, get to meet others in your cohort, meet others in other cohorts, and yeah, just really engage in the community as much as you can, because I think that is the best way to kind of learn, is from others and from your peers. And last but certainly not least, we have our weekly office hours. This is also hosted by Justin Fong, your community manager, and myself. Every single Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have office hours to discuss a variety of different things under this kind of umbrella of office hours. So we talk about anything from like career-related topics, random question and answers to bring to the table. So anytime someone has a lot of questions, we might just host a regular question and answer, allow students to jump on the video call, similar to this call right now, and ask Justin and myself any questions that you might have. Office hours are also a place where we can bring in other mentors, we can bring in past alumni. It's just a really great place to get a little bit more of a different soft skills side of business analytics and answer more of those questions. So yeah, kind of a quick overview of the 4 different structures that we have in business analytics and the difference importance of them all, but all of them kind of come together to make this a really dynamic, exciting course. Cool. Going forward, this is just a nice eagle eye overview of what is to come. So today, the November 28th, is your orientation. Following after that on Friday, you'll be matched with your mentor. The Monday following that, December 3rd, is when your course officially does start. And since it is a 12-week course, you will be ending in February. So a great thing just to keep in mind ahead of time, just to start planning around. I know the holidays can be a really tough time, but it can be good just to manage those interactions right now and mentally prepare for the course as much as you can to really prioritize your education going forward. Awesome. Let's talk about pacing and completion a bit. So like I said, it is a 12-week course. We estimate that it's going to take about 8 to 12 hours a week. Now, this really does depend on your past experience with business analytics, your amount of time that you're able to devote to the course now. Are you working another job? Do you have a family? Do you want to participate in social events? So a lot of that comes into play. But depending on how many hours or a week, it will be a 12-week course. And like I said earlier as well, you'll have to pass at least 3 out of the 5 cases to earn that certificate of completion. So if you would like to finish all 5, we really encourage people to complete all 5 case studies. However, you only have to submit and pass 3 of them to get your certification. Great. So let's move on to kind of the third component of our orientation, which is how can you make the most of your course. So these are some tips and some tricks that we've heard from students, alumni, mentors who really think that this differentiates successful students versus students who might struggle a bit. So the first tip is time management. So making sure you set those goals ahead of time, really prioritize your education, like I was saying a little bit earlier. Figuring out how scheduling might differ. So how can you plan your time out now to really make sure that this course is an important priority for you? Along with that, just managing those inevitable interruptions. Life's going to happen. We have holidays coming up. We have a lot of really exciting events. So making sure to keep your focus on the content, on the curriculum while you're having these really exciting times in life as well. And last but not least, avoiding procrastination, attempting to give it your all. And if you do struggle with any of these or starting to doubt yourself, that's when feel free to reach out to me as your student advisor. I'm more than happy to help keep you accountable or help you set goals anytime that you need. If you don't feel like utilizing me and you just like to work online, you can also utilize our study plan tool, which is also online in your profile. So you can go ahead and estimate how much time you would like to commit each week, and that can kind of help you out with that as well. Great. Second tip, develop a really good relationship with your mentor. So just as we would ask for our mentors to be respectful of your time, we really ask that the mentees are respectful of the mentor's time. So anytime you ever need to, inevitably reschedule or cancel a call, make sure you communicate that to your mentor in a really timely manner. So we ask if not 24 to 48 hours in advance. They are able to switch the call time. So anytime you have a specific mentor question, feel free to email your mentor directly. That doesn't necessarily have to go through me as a student advisor. With your first call, some things that you could talk about are introductions. So where did you go to school? What's your background in? What are you excited about? What are your expectations for the course? What are your goals for the course? And explaining all of that ahead of time is really going to help not only keep it in a really open environment, but also allow for feedback going forward. So if you provide that really open sense of communication and community early on, in the future, you'll also be able to get that in return from your mentor. As you can see an image below on the screen, we do have an image of what it looks like on your student profile when you are going to have your mentor call. It gives you the time. It allows you to start this call on Skype and send an email to your mentor anytime that you need to. If you ever would like to let them know of what you want to talk about in that call, I would really encourage you to set the agenda ahead of time. Setting that agenda ahead of time will give your mentor the time that they need to better prepare for the call so they can give you the best possible advice and information within that 45 minutes. So the earlier you can send them agenda, the better. And you can also give feedback to your mentor by rating the calls. You can choose to either send that call to me or just give that information to your mentor. But this is a great way to keep that communication really open and fluid. So something that we really are passionate about at Springboard is like having a really feedback-driven, open communication environment. And so I think the more open you can be with your mentor, the better. So like I said, communicating any expectations, and if they're not giving you something, make sure you are either voicing that to them or figuring out how we can have that open communication amongst all of them. Great. So last tip is to engage in the community. So this is something I feel really passionate about. I think it's great to be vulnerable and ask questions in the online community. This is a great place where students in the past have created or joined study groups. So if you know that many of them are, for example, in the Bay Area or in the East Coast, you could get a group together and just start working on specific case studies together. Also in the community is where you can attend office hours and request topics for office hours. This is something that we've really been trying to perfect and better throughout the last couple of months. So office hours is something that we think could really benefit students. So the more that you let us know what you want, the more we can go ahead and customize that experience to fit your needs. So yeah, we're super excited for you to engage in the community and to meet all the other students in the different cohorts, because I think this is a really great way to help your education, is to go through it with others who are kind of on the same path as you. So what's going to happen next? Make sure you read over and finish the introduction section on your curriculum before your first mentor call. It basically just outlines many of the things I said today in your orientation, but it goes through it a lot more explicitly. It also gives you a lot more detail than I was able to provide in this 30 minutes. And it also kind of sets the mindset for what the course is going to entail and kind of gets you ready for your first mentor call. After that, in your inbox, you'll be seeing an email from me by end of the day Friday, letting you know who your mentor is going to be. So go ahead and reach out to them, exchange backup call links in case, for example, your Skype doesn't work, or someone's out of town, or someone doesn't have service. What can you do instead of that? Or how can you reach your mentor? Is it via a peer? Is it via, Google Hangouts, Skype, Zoom, whatever it may be? Just make sure you have those backup links available. So, no one's ever a last minute trying to say, I can't get a hold of my mentor and I don't know how. And last, we have our course start date on Monday, December 3rd. So that'll be a really exciting time to kind of officially kick off the course and begin to know when your mentor call is going to be and kind of access the curriculum then. So would love to answer any questions that you guys might have. I know I kind of went through that really quickly, but if you have anything that pops up after this call, feel free to email me at molly@springboard.com, or you can schedule your immediate call or video chat that you would like with me going forward. But otherwise, I would love to answer any questions that you guys might have. Or any comments, concerns. We can just kind of open up the chat from here. Feel free to unmute yourself, and would love just to, answer any questions. Cool, so I have one on our chat box. How long are office hours? It's 30 minutes, so it's 5 till 5:30. Another question, does it have to take a full 12 weeks? Does the course have to take fully 12 weeks? So basically the student was saying that they have a background in SQL and Tableau, but they would love a refresher in Excel. So we ask that students do take the 12 weeks in some unique case in which a student is able to complete in a really short amount of time. Obviously, we understand, but the whole idea of the course is to kind of go through each case study really methodically and to completely understand the different components of each case study. The first week is optional, so I think that could maybe change the time around a little bit since it is in Excel. So really just kind of depends, to be super honest. There's no hard start or stop, but we do say that the 12 weeks is something that most, if not all, students do. Cool. Any other questions? Are SQL and Tableau provided? Students will need to buy Excel themselves, but Tableau, we use the table public, so the data is public, and we have instructions in the curriculum on how to download it. And in SQL, we also use an online sandbox. That's also provided. Great questions. Any other questions? Okay, well, I'm more than happy to stay online, and I'll stay back if anyone wants to ask any questions privately. Would be more than happy to answer those for you guys. I know I ran through that pretty quickly. I just do want to respect everyone's time, and I know 30 minutes can be a bit long, so I'll add my email. Oopsies, I did that privately to everyone. And feel free to ping me if you have any other questions going forward. Would love to help with that. Oh, I already got one. Whew. Are there assignments due weekly? You're able to progress through the course at your own pace, so no hard deadlines for the course. However, we kind of imagine it takes about 2 weeks per case study. So again, no hard cutoffs, but each week. It would be great if you would slowly work towards that case study with no hard cutoffs. Also not sure if anyone is in the New York area or East Coast, but we're actually having a data science and business analyst kind of meetup and happy hour event in New York City on December 13th. So if anyone in that area would like to join, we would love to have you. We do have an event on Eventbrite, so I will be sending that out in the communities. But feel free to join us if you guys are in the area. We're also trying to promote that as well. So December 13th, it's just going to be where we can get together with a lot of our students in the course, and they can meet mentors and we'll have a panel. But hopefully one day we'll have it in many cities all over the States. But right now, we did some in the West Coast, and so now we're trying to move it to the East Coast. Okay, great. Well, like I said, I'll stay online. If you are ready to jump off, feel free to, we got another question. How many people in each cohort? It really does depend on each cohort. It depends on, you know, if it's a holiday, if it's a really busy year for some. I would say about 15 to 20 in each cohort. That's a rough estimate though. And it really does depend on each course. So some of our larger courses like Introduction to Data Science can have upwards to 70 to 100 students, whereas it really totally depends on other courses. Like cybersecurity doesn't have very many this month, so it just kind of depends each month. I feel like every time I start talking, someone's going to send me another message. But thank you everyone for joining us and on the call. I really appreciate it. It was really great to virtually meet many of you today. If you have questions going forward, please ping me. Otherwise, would love if you joined us at office hours next Tuesday. Myself and Justin would love to meet many of you again and answer any questions that you might have. It's kind of great. It's kind of like you have a second mentor if you join in on office calls. So hope to see many of you there. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope I oriented you well on business analytics. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, and thanks so much for joining us. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any other questions.